Hey, welcome to the Pete Podcast, the show about how real estate investors are winning with technology. I'm your host, Jon Nolen, and today I'm joined by Elias Harris out of Dayton, Ohio. Elias is a younger investor. He's only 20 years old, but he's done a good amount of deals. He's wholesaling, he's doing some owner finance, he's building rentals, and again, he's only 20 years old, so it's really cool as we dig into his story and the tools that he's using. And you'll especially want to stick around when we get to what he talks about automations and workflows and how those have enabled him to be able to do more without spending more money on staff or just running out of time trying to do too many things manually. So let's get into it. With me today, I have Elias Harris out of Dayton, Ohio. Elias, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it.
I am super glad to be here. I'm glad we were able to work this out.
Yep. So you're younger than a lot of our guests, and you're not a tech person per se. I don't, not saying you're tech illiterate or anything like that, but tech isn't what you do every day. Give the audience, if you will, a little bit of a quick background about you and your story.
So my story starts at a Christian summer camp when I was about 16 years old. I was kind of lost. I was struggling in football. And football was kind of my identity. So I really, when that was struggling, I didn't really know who I was. And then God revealed to me that he called me into youth ministry through business. When I got home, my youth pastor asked me if I wanted to, when I graduated, if I wanted to serve with the youth. And Dad, that same weekend, asked me if I wanted to work in the business with him. So then I started working with Dad once I graduated, and at the same time got hired by a wholesaling company out of Georgia and did my first wholesale deal at 18. And they were having me be like a small acquisition specialist. I wasn't making a ton of calls or anything, but that was kind of where I got like my foundational knowledge. They had me read Never Split the Difference.
Very well.
Awesome book. Love that book. And that's kind of where it all started. So then after I left with them, Dad said, I'll hire you as my acquisitions manager. And then he said, this guy I know named John has a CRM. Would you want to use that? And I said, yeah, of course. And I had no idea how to run a CRM. But what I do like doing is I like talking to sellers. I like making offers. And I just like doing it. You just got to do it over and over. And so Mark's been helping me out a lot. I've been figuring it out. And it gets easier every day.
And how old are you now?
I am 20 years old.
20. And so you've started basically when you were 18. And now you're working with sellers. How many deals have you done so far?
So I left the wholesaling company, I believe that was March of 2025. Did my first rental or bought my first rental in April of 2025. So
Okay.
I've been in it we're coming up on 18 months. So, and we bought, I think, 12 rentals and I think done 2 wholesales, I think,
Nice. At 20 years old, dude, that's awesome, man.
and sold 4 on seller financing.
Awesome. It's kind of a contract for deed
Yeah,
or
like
traditional
contract.
mortgage. Okay. Nice. Very nice. Well, obviously this isn't just going to be a Pete commercial. I'm sure you're using more than just Pete on stuff.
Yeah.
So, but walk me through your tech stack. What's running in the background of your business today?
So Mark's been teaching me all about workflows and how those work. And since it's just me, those have been super helpful because probably for the first 2 months, I had no workflows, no agents, no systems. I didn't know what statuses were.
You were just
And
kind of running through it, right?
yeah. which was fine. I mean, I was getting leads, but then Mark showed me, he was like, when you put leads in the long-term follow-up, you have this long-term follow-up workflow that starts and then it follows up for you. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is life-changing. So, um, right now I have a follow-up AI agent and I have a front desk assistant agent. And then other than that, it's simply just workflows and automation within Pete. So pretty much every status right now has a workflow. So that way, except for one that's like, I think it's a appointment canceled. That was one I'm just trying to follow up with them constantly to get that appointment back.
Okay.
Um, but other than that, everything has a workflow, and that's kind of what I'm learning right now is creating those workflows and the templates and all that stuff.
Gotcha. So you're able to use those for things that are repetitive. So when this happens, this other thing should start type, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Has it obviously it's made things a lot easier for you. Have you noticed a difference in the number, like you're able to interact with more sellers or you're contracting more? Is there anything quantitative since you started doing that automation?
Yeah. So the biggest one I noticed was total outbound SMS and calls.
Mm-hmm.
My highest week was a couple weeks ago. I was at I think 700 total SMS and calls outbound.
Nice.
And that's again just me and some automation. And that was because I had workflow set up so that most of it was automated and a lot of the calls were me. But I was able to make those calls because so many other leads were automated. It allowed me to go call new leads.
Right. So something that I've heard people talk about for a long time is using other people's time.
Yeah.
You got other people thing, like other people's time, other people's money, but other people's time, and that comes in hiring people and having a staff. Well, with the staff, you have a hourly rate that you're paying them, and that's the way it goes. And there's good things and bad things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but right now, you're using technology to free up that time and still have things go through.
Yeah. So right now we have the agents and my dad is employing me, but completely commission.
Okay.
And for me, it's just me. I have no assistant or anything like that. So it's very low overhead.
Nice. That makes it easy when things, if you have a down month or something,
Yeah.
you're in such a bad spot. So tell me about something that you tried that didn't work. Hey, can I interrupt myself for just a second? If you're listening to this and you've ever felt like deals are slipping through the cracks and somewhere between getting a lead and actually closing it, I want you to check something out. We built a free assessment called the Lead to Close Health Check. It takes about 6 minutes. It scores your operation across the 8 things that decide whether your leads actually turn into deals. And it gives you a personalized report on exactly where you're leaking and what to fix first. It's totally free. Go grab it at leadtoclosetest.com. All right, back to the episode.
Something that I tried that didn't work. Um, one, well, when I first started, I saw, Steve Trang.
Yeah.
I watched a YouTube video on him and he was talking about you should have like a process call with them, but instead of signing the contract on the phone, you go meet them at the property and you have an appointment and then you close there.
Okay.
And I'm used to you're talking on a headset like this and you have your script and you're trying to close on the phone. So then when I went to an appointment at the property and didn't have a script,
You were
eh,
thrown off, weren't you?
yeah, I was all out of whack and I was like, I need to have some I need to just get better at what I need to say before I can go make appointments.
So, how do you do your contracts now? Do you do them over the phone or do them in person or both?
Uh both. Over the phone is easier But I think once I get more experienced, appointments is the less risky route.
Gotcha.
Because then you can see the property for yourself. You get to build better rapport with the seller. I think there's just a lot more opportunities with appointments.
Yeah, and there's a trade-off there. I mean, in our businesses, we've done both.
Yeah.
Even though we were buying locally, we were 100% virtual at one point. COVID kind of pushed that for a lot of people, and there's been a lot of people that have done it and been successful on it and train on it.
Yeah.
I know Josh and Tiff train on virtual, and there's advantages. You can hit more people, you can make more offers. But I agree with you. When you're in person, you have a tendency to be able to get more rapport with the person. Now, it doesn't mean you can't get rapport on the phone, but you do have that additional body language that makes up a lot of our communication. So
Yeah.
there's advantages and disadvantages to both. Um, and everybody works a little bit differently. Different people are better at
Mm-hmm.
in person. There's people who are great on the phone that are horrible in person. Um, so when somebody is, if you're doing one virtually, do you? I'm going to make a joke here. When you're doing a contract on the phone, do you like fax them the contract and have them sign it and fax it back?
No, so um oh I used to have no way in that in between when I left the wholesaling company and working and before we got Pete, I had no way to send him a contract other than to email it and have him print it out and sign it and then send it back, which
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that can go wrong there.
Yes, there is.
Um, Pete makes it very easy. You upload your template and then you fill out the template with all the info and then leave their signature box blank and then you send it to them and all they have to do is click the box to sign it and they never print it off. I think they just click finish, right?
Yep.
And then it sends back. So that's made it super easy to get
Oh,
everything done.
awesome. That's good. That makes it a lot easier for you over the phone and being able to do it virtually.
Yeah.
Kind of on the flip side, where in your business, anywhere in there, is tech still not good enough? Like, where do you wish a tool existed or a tool was a lot better at?
Um, some that's hard for me to answer on some things because I have only done so much. I've only been using the CRM for I don't know, like 3 months. But sometimes it can look very complicated on the screen.
Okay.
So maybe if there is a way to like simplify how everything looked, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And there's times, I mean, if you get overwhelmed with information, it makes it just as tough to make a decision on what next to do or where to go as
Yeah.
having bad stuff. So, okay. Um, Kind of moving on to a different section. What, where do you think AI is going to make its next big move in the industry? You talked about you have a couple AI agents,
Yeah.
but where do you give me your prediction? Where do you think AI is going to make its next big move?
So I think so right now there kind of seems like a separation of elite wholesalers and then like good wholesalers.
Okay.
And I think the elite ones are going to incorporate AI. They're going to shove AI into everything. And I think that's going to drastically make them so much better than the competition. So I think the people who use AI and incorporate it are going to do much, much better than those who don't.
Fair enough. And to be devil's advocate, which on the flip side, obviously I'm an advocate for it. I love some stuff that we've brought with
Yeah.
AI. We have a front desk agent that answers all of our inbound calls. We've been doing it it's been live for almost a year. Um, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who are very, and you've got more than two buckets, but you got people that are very cautious and very nervous about having AI speak with their sellers. And then there's a lot that also are just absolutely adamant that it would never work. It's never going to work. They would never do that. What would you kind of say to people that are very negative against using AI, whether it's an agent or in any other form?
Um, it's I would say we it's humans programming it, and um we're not using it just to we're using it to make things easier for us so that we can help more people. We're not just taking it using it to take advantage of people. And
Right.
I think most people, if they're truly a motivated seller with a real pain point, I don't think they really care if they have to talk to an agent first. I think
I
they
think
just
that's a
want to
big
get it
key.
done.
That's the big key. They want somebody who can solve their problem and
Yeah.
get the pain removed, get it gone.
And an agent never takes sick days, it never takes vacations, it never has a bad day. So theoretically it could be better at solving their problem.
Yeah. And I think it's just going to continue to get better and better and better and
Yeah.
grow and improve. And um, right now, everything is kind of built on local language models, on language, text. It's going to be interesting when things get to the world models and things are completely different and AI can do video and scan. It's going to be crazy.
It's gonna be insane.
Um, so off the wall question:
Hmm.
what is something that people would find interesting about you? A different fact about you?
Um, that um probably that I think the lessons you learn in sales don't just stay in real estate. I think those go to every part of life. Like when for me, I've had conversations with students before and youth group where I'm not trying to convince them to put their faith in Jesus. I'm more trying to pull that need they have in their life that Jesus will solve. I'm trying to pull that out so that they can see um that God is the answer. And you're doing the same thing with a lead. You're not convincing them to sell their house. You're just showing them that the solution to their problem is selling their house.
Yeah. That's something that I learned when I read Never Split the Difference, which I've read it a number of times.
Me too.
That changed my mindset on sales. My mindset on sales was a car salesman, a used car salesman. And
Yeah.
I mean, there is that avenue, but that's what gives sales a bad name. The good salespeople, the good sales processes identify if there even is a pain that you can solve. And if so, how do we solve it and kind of guide them, kind of stay behind the pendulum with, if
Yeah.
you will, not be pulling them all the time. And sales is in every aspect of our lives. Sales is trying to get our kids to clean their room and I everything. Sales comes into everything. So awesome. Well, we're going to move on to the rapid fire section of our podcast. We've got 5 questions I ask every guest. You ready?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. First one. What's one tip for an investor who's just starting to build their tech stack?
Um, tech is not as important. Tech is the aid to you taking action.
Yeah.
You shouldn't use tech to replace you taking action.
So you don't think you can just have tech do everything and handle the whole thing without you doing anything? You can go sit on a beach drinking Mai Tais?
I think eventually, but I think starting out, it doesn't work because you don't. If you automate the system, but you don't know how to run it,
You still have to
that's
audit it. You still have to know what's going on.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep. Cool. Number 2, what's one tool that you couldn't run your business without?
Oh, a workflow, definitely.
Okay. Um, and those are workflows in P.
Yeah,
Right.
automated workflows within Pete.
Gotcha. Now, since you are younger in your in career, you may or may not have this. But what's one tool or platform that you bought or got that you regretted?
One tool, like related to real estate.
Yeah.
Um, that I regretted. Um, so I before getting Pete, I used the Google Voice number. Probably my biggest regret is I bought some bandit signs and accidentally put the Google Voice number on there instead of my Pete number. So they're going to the Google Voice number. The leads are going to the Google Voice number instead of the
Into B.
Pete. So that's probably my biggest headache right now is because then I get a call, then I have to get all the information and then put it all into Pete. And it just, a lot of information and leads get lost.
Okay. Side note, after this, we can help you out with that.
Okay.
Because that shouldn't be a pain point for you. Number 4, AI and REI. What's one piece of advice for someone deciding whether to adopt AI or not adopt AI?
Don't look at AI as you're trying to um uh turn people into just numbers and whatever. Look at AI as it's enabling you to help more people.
I love it. I love it. And then number 5, one resource you'd recommend for staying current on REI tech.
Uh would like the Pete Q&A meetings count or the Pete
Yep.
those things?
Yeah.
Because those are super helpful for me.
Nice. Tell me a little bit about those.
So I think are they every other week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every other week, um, is a free Zoom call where it'll either be like a short lesson on how to run something in Pete or open Q&A where we can bring all our problems and John and Mark can help us out with whatever.
Nice. And that's been really helpful for you.
Yeah, super helpful.
Good. Good. Awesome. Well, um, last few things, if anybody wants to find you and follow you, what's the best place for them to do that?
So, let me check. I need to make sure on my Instagram handle. Instagram is Elias underscore Harris 24. And then my Facebook, most most of you will probably go to Facebook. Um,
You just called us old.
just look up Elias Harris. You'll see me. It's a picture of me and my dad after I shot a wild boar in Africa. So,
Nice.
just yeah, send me a friend request and I'm happy to talk about whatever. Happy to share my story.
Awesome. And what are you working on right now that listeners should know about?
That listeners should know about. I just bought a house for my fiance and I.
Congrats.
It was um it was owned by this mechanic. He owned this one and the one next to it. It was his parents and grandparents' houses. And he had, oh my gosh, he's been mowing them for like 30 years. He's been driving from Dark County. Well, oh, sorry, you probably don't know Dark County. Like 45 minutes away.
Okay.
Like mowing them every other week for 30 years.
Oh,
And yeah, he just reached a point where he said, I'll give it one more year. And he never sold them because it was his parents and grandparents' houses.
mm-hmm. He was
And
emotionally tied to him.
it was super emotionally tied to him. And a very rich guy. He has a lot of money. He's a famous mechanic. And so when we approached him, we offered him seller financing. We gave him 10% down, and then the rest will be paid off in a year.
Okay.
Yeah, and he said, "Yeah, sure, that sounds great." So now I'm probably tonight I'll go over there and start cleaning up the yard and mowing the grass, and then next week the new roof will go on, and that's where me and my fiancée are going to live when we get married.
Awesome. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Last thing, anything specific you'd like to point our audience to?
Pete is amazing because you have people like John and Mark who are always happy to help no matter what, especially if you're like me and you had no idea what you were doing at the start. And they're happy to steer you in the right direction.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And I think the biggest takeaway there is you're open and you're willing to listen. A lot of times people aren't willing to listen. And so that takes you a long ways. That helps you grow.
Yeah, that's something that I'm like, I don't get why you wouldn't be openly willing to listen to someone who knows it better than you. That makes no sense to me.
Yep. Egos are an interesting thing.
Very interesting.
Awesome. Well, Elias, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. And everybody else, I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
See you guys.